Okay, good evening, everyone. We are on Daf Chet Amud Bet of Masechet Berachot, and on this daf, we are hopefully concluding the Agadata. That means the stories. We still have a few more to go, some fun Gemarot, and then hopefully we're going to get back to the topic of our Masechet, which is saying Keri'as Shema at night. That's the goal. So we have a couple lines of fun Gemarot. Anyone here, by raise of hand, anyone here Persian? Anyone here Persian? Oh wow, this is okay. This is like looks like unanimous. We want everyone here is Persian. So the Gemara has some things to say about you. All of you Persians, there's some stuff. I will say there's some good things about Persians. There's also some not such good things like Persians. I'll give you a preview. It says all the Persians are going straight to Gehinnom. Okay, but you should know straight to hell. But those Persians are not us. It's Baruch Hashem is talking about the Persians that. At the time of the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, the Babylonians were the ones who destroyed it, and then the Persians overtook them, and they had their own issues. That was Achashverosh, and they wanted to destroy the Jewish people. Haman was part of the Persian Empire. So we're talking about them. But I remember the first time I learned this, I was like, what? This is I was a kid. I was probably like 12 years old, or maybe, I don't know how old I was when I first saw this. And the Gemara has some good comments about Persians and not such good comments. We'll see it. Okay, everyone ready? Let's go share screen. We are on Gemara Masechet Berachot Daf Chet Amud Bet, and if you are looking at the art scroll, it's Amar Rava Levneh, which is yes 8b2 Amar Lehu Rava Levneh. It's like it's the first paragraph on the left side on 8b2. We ended off the last Gemara, and just so that you know why we're saying this. The last Gemara we did was Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi giving his final messages, his final teachings to his children. There's three teachings that he gave. These are the three messages that he gave to his kids. Number one, he told them to do Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum, which I hope everyone is doing. The second one was when a person does Shechita, to do Shechita according to Rabbi Yehuda, to make sure to get in addition to the trachea and the esophagus, but also to get these arteries. There's arteries to get the blood out. And the third thing that he said is be very careful with the respect of someone who had Torah but then lost it because of some sort of a machmat onso. It's out of his control. Let's say someone has become elderly, not as sharp, someone has Alzheimer's, someone got sick, whatever it is, to respect. And what was his analogy? Very good, the luchot. Because in the Aron, Berit, in the Beit HaMikdash and in the Mishkan, the tablets, the whole tablets, which was the second set, together with the first set of tablets, the shards, the broken pieces of the tablets were in there. Why? Because they had Torah on them at some point. So you treat them with the same respect that you treat the one that has Torah on it at this moment. These are the three things that Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi taught his children. We quoted it because we taught the Gemara of Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum. Now, why did we talk about Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum? It's too far back. I can't tell you. I can't tell you why we got into that. But once we spoke about someone who gave messages to his kids, let's do another one. Rava also gave messages to his kids. That's the connection. Amar lehu Rava libnei. Rava said to his children, three things. When you're chopping up your meat, you're making pol choresh, you're making cholent, you're grilling something. When you're cutting up your meat, don't cut it in your hand. Okay? This is what he taught his kids. When you're cutting meat, don't cut it in your hand. Now, why would you say you shouldn't cut it in your hand? You could cut your hand. Instead of cutting the meat, you cut your hand. Okay, and if you do, then what? It's gross. Okay, so the Gemara is going to tell us two reasons as to why he said not to do it. Number one, Ika de Amri. Some say Mishum Sakana because it's dangerous. You could dismember yourself. You could cut a finger off. It's dangerous to do that. Some say because it's going to ruin the meal. It's not so much that he's worried that you're going to cut so much that you're going to cut a whole finger off or you're going to do something that's dangerous. But you're going to get blood into the food. This, I don't know about you guys, but let's say, for example, some people, they cut an apple. Like you could use your thumb to hold it and like use it as a fulcrum, and like this type of thing. These things, I guess, I don't know why it would be different. Like why it would only apply to meat and not to apply to apple or to a fruit. So, like something very interesting that he's saying here is that he's giving advice. When you cut meat, don't cut it in your hands. Cut it on the table. It's a message to give to your kids. It's a last. I don't know why this would be the last thing. Maybe it was his kids were like daredevils or something. People who like playing with fire, like pyros or something. Maybe they like playing with knives. I don't know exactly. But this is a message that he taught, and it's teaching us proper etiquette. When you're cutting meat, don't cut it in your hands. Okay. Number two, teaching number two he gave his children. Aramit. Do not sit on the bed of an Aramit, is an Armenian woman. The Gemara, the language of the Gemara is Aramaic. Aramit is that language, meaning it was the Babylonian local. It would be, I guess, similar to us living in America, saying don't sit on an American woman's bed, like something like that. The area where they lived were the people from Aramit. This is like Lavan Ha'arami. Lavan was from Aram, Iraq, that Mesopotamian area. So don't sit on an Armenian woman's bed. I don't think it's Armenian. It's Aramean. Aramit. I'm just going to say Aramit from now on. Okay, you got it. And number three, don't walk by the door behind the Bet Knesset at the time when they should be praying. Okay, there's a door over here. You're walking right by the door. So now we gave the three messages. We broke it in the middle, but there's three messages that he gave his children. Number one, when you're cutting meat, don't cut it in your hands. Cut it on a table. Number two, don't sit on a mita aramit, the bed of an aramit. And number three, don't walk behind the door of a bet knesset at the time that they're praying. So now the Gemara is going to say, what are the issues here? Okay. Al teshavu al mitat aramit. When it says don't sit on the bed of an aramit, ikad amri, some say this means lo tignu velo Keri'as Shema. Don't sleep without saying Keri'as Shema. Okay, so when it says don't sit on the bed of an aramit, what it's effectively saying is don't go to sleep the way a non-Jew sleeps. Say Shema when you go to sleep. It's a code way of saying it. Of don't sleep on the bed of an aramit. Don't sleep the way a bed of an aramit is. Say Shema before you go to sleep. Okay. Second opinion of what it means. Second explanation is don't marry the Aramit woman, meaning don't marry a non-Jewish woman. So that's what he's saying. Don't sit on their bed, meaning don't go near one, don't have anything to do with one, don't marry one, don't be with one, don't be intimate with one. The third opinion is Aramit mamash. It's talking about don't sit on the bed of an Aramit. That's it. There's no secondary understanding of don't say Shema, don't marry, or don't go to sleep without saying Shema, or don't marry, but don't sit. Why? What's the problem? Said Rav Papa, because there was a story that happened to Rav Papa. The Rav Papa azal legabe Aramit. One time, Rav Papa had a loan. He gave out a loan. He was in what do you call these loan businesses? These bridge loans, something. Okay, he gave money laundering. What is it? Money lending, hard money lending. Okay, money laundering is also okay. So this what happened is the person, Rav Papa, had hard money lending to an Aramit woman. Now the time is up. Yes, it's a year later. The term has matured. He's going to collect his money. So he comes to the woman and he says, "Can I have my money back? Here's my contract. Here's a date. I have to come to collect." So the Rav Papa azal legabe Aramit. Totzia lo mita. So she came and she said, "Here, please have a seat. I'm going to go get the cash from the other room. Please come. Here, there's a bed here. Please come sit on the bed." Amra lo shev. She said, "Sit." Amar la any yoshev. I'm not going to sit. Ashetik bihi et amita. I want to lift the cushion up. There's a mattress there. Lift the mattress. I want to see what's on there. Why are you making me sit? This is like the number one prank when they put something in a couch and then your kid comes and tells you sit. There's a whoopee cushion under there, right? Like that's what you're expecting. So he had kids. He knows this. He comes and she said, "Please take a sit on this spot." And he's like, "I'm not sitting here until you lift the mattress. I want to see what's under there." So he lifts it, or she lifts the mattress. There was a dead infant under the mattress, a dead baby, the corpse of a dead infant under the mattress. What had happened? There's another source that expands this. Basically, she didn't want to pay him. It was a lot of money, and there was a miscarriage. And so they had the corpse, Shalom Eda, of the fetus. So she had put it there. And when he would come and he would sit, she would then say that he murdered my child. And then this way she would be able to get out of the loan. It's a crazy story, but there was an incident. Imagine something like this happened. This type of thing of someone framing someone else Like these were the specific details of that. But you could imagine someone goes somewhere, frames them for money. These things has been around forever, right? Someone is getting caught. There's cameras on them. This is what happens all the time, right? These are like these undercover things. They make TV shows about this stuff. So this is what had happened to Rav Papa. And Rava was like a student of Rav Papa. So he told his children, never trust, you're going somewhere, there's a goy there, and they're telling you to do something. You always have to think twice because they could be framing you. Okay, Mikan Amru Chachamim, because of this, Chachamim say, Asur le'shev al mitat Aramit, you can't sit on the bed of an Aramit. Okay. All right, so these are the second things. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look, what is it? Correct. So I guess like there's something specific, but you learn from that specific. Again, you're doing business dealings with someone. Be careful. Don't be friends with them and assume that at the end of the day, when you're dealing with money with someone, people could be shrewd. You have to be careful. That was his specific teaching that I'm generalizing. But yeah, it's very specific. Okay, so statement number one that Rava told his children was, don't cut meat on your hands. Anyone here know how to chop a mango on their hands or peel an apple? He's saying meat. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the texture is this. It's more slippery, okay, fine. Anytime my wife asks me to peel an apple for one of my kids, it takes me 15 minutes. The kid is not hungry by the time I'm done with this thing. I go like this and like that, and then it's too much meat coming up. Just eat it with the peel. Do me a favor. But yeah, so with meat, you're cutting a piece of meat. You're right. Maybe it's because of the texture. Maybe it's softer. Maybe like like it's the same texture as your hand. So yeah, that could be that is specific to meat. What is it? What was 45? I don't know. What is this? Oh, you're talking about something that I'm not aware of. What is this?
Like Joseph was still in the house.
Okay.
She got distracted by him once.
I didn't know this. Okay, so Eshet Potiphar cut her hand off because she was distracted by the beauty of Yosef. Okay, but yeah, maybe she was like cutting meat in her hand. Okay, very good. So the first one is don't cut meat in your hand. Number two, don't sit on mita aramit. And there's three explanations of what that is. Either that means don't go to sleep without saying Shema at night, or two, don't marry a Goya, Giorta, very good. Or number three, actually don't sit because of the story of Rav Papa. Okay, very good. Third statement was, this one, there's actually important halachot to learn. There are some important halachot to learn from this. Don't walk behind, or behind in this context really means past the entrance. Like there's behind the Bet Knesset is where the entrance is. So don't walk by the entrance of the Bet Knesset the time that the Bet Knesset is praying. So why? What's the problem? Messiah Leila Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. That is in line with the statement of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Damar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, because Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi taught the following halacha: Asur lo la'adam. A person may not. A person cannot walk by the entrance of a Bet Knesset at the time of the Tefillah. The Gemara Amar Abaye clarifies. V'lo amran ela deleka pitcha acharina. That's only if there isn't another entrance. Oh, why? Why should it make a difference? What are you worried about by walking by the entrance of a Bet Knesset at the time that the Bet Knesset is praying? What is your concern? Exactly. It's not that if the person doesn't want to pray, it's one thing. But more than that, we're telling you, hey, don't walk by it because people might assume that you don't want to pray. So this is like the concept of marit ayin. Don't do something that doesn't look right. So here it's, let's say shaharit, or let's say mincha is at 4:30. And 4:30, everyone's parking, running in. And then you go by and you say, nah, I want to go to the deli down the block and get myself a drink. Everyone's saying like, look at this bum. Everyone over here is going to pray and this guy's going there to have the coffee, 4 p.m. So this is what's going to happen. But the Gemara Abaye clarifies this. Hold on a second. What if there's another entrance? Someone might say like, oh, maybe the guy is going, maybe he has to drop something off in the mailbox. He'll come in from that entrance. Like, this building is perfect. There's an entrance on this side. There's an entrance on that side. There's an entrance from that building. Who knows? Maybe he's going to that entrance over there, for example. Okay. Hold on a second. Very good. So the first thing that he says is maybe there's another entrance. If there's another entrance, there's no problem. We also say that this only applies if there isn't another Bet Knesset in the area. Oh, someone could just say, okay, he's not going to this Bet Knesset because he goes over there, or maybe he goes in that area. But because if there's only one Bet Knesset in the entire city, and there's only one door to it, and everyone is there, and you're walking by, it's clear that you don't want to participate. But if there's another Bet Knesset in the area, there's no issue. And this also only applies if you're not carrying something on your back. Also, if you're not running. Also, if you're not wearing tefillin. But if you have any of these conditions met, there's no issue. Which means, if you're carrying something, someone's going to see that the guy's working. The guy's carrying something. I'm not going to expect him to come with this huge bag of salt or cement or something in the middle of Bet Knesset. He's going to go drop that off, and that's why he's not coming. Or the guy is running. If the guy is running, you see he's running to catch a train. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to pray. It means that he has to catch a train, for example. Or the last one is he's not wearing tefillin. Someone who's wearing tefillin, you wouldn't assume that he doesn't want to pray because clearly he wants to pray. He's someone who wears tefillin. So if there's any of these conditions, then it's fine. If one of these conditions are met, then it's fine. In other words, this is what the halakha is teaching us, right? Let's see if we could do this. If you are in a city where there's only one Bet Knesset and it's a time of the tefillah, and you're not running, you're strolling, and you're not carrying anything, and you're not wearing tefillin, and you're walking by the entrance, and there's other people there, and you just walk by, that's a problem. Because people are going to assume that you don't want to pray. Look, I'll tell you where this comes up. Okay? So we know this, you understand how like this halakha is extremely detailed. Yeah, so Igal is saying, shouldn't a person give the benefit of the doubt? Why do we need these stipulations? Igal, it's the opposite. We're giving the person the benefit of the doubt with any of these things. If there's another Bet Knesset in the city, you say, give him the benefit of the doubt, he's going there. Or if he's wearing his tefillin, give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's carrying something, give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's running, give him the benefit of the doubt. So it's the opposite. We are giving the benefit. We're finding any excuse to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'll tell you where this is very common. You go to a wedding, and then after, in the middle of the wedding, during the shmorg or after the chuppah, you're trying to gather a minyan of 8 people. And you have 8 people, and you're looking for 2. And then you go to this guy and you say, "Did you pray?" And the guy just turns around, walks away. And okay, so look, you're showing that you don't care. Now, you could simply say, "Is that asur?" I'm not saying it's asur. You could say the guy's going to go to another minyan. He's going to go somewhere else. You're probably not wearing your tefillin at a wedding, unless it's a day wedding. That would be cool. Actually, I've been to a chuppah once in the morning. A story for another time. So I was wearing my tefillin, not for the chuppah, but moments before. But like you get the idea. There's a situation where you're clearly broadcasting that, like, leave me alone. I'm not interested in praying. That's the idea here. I'm not telling you that it's the same thing, but I'm just trying to give you some idea. There's some action that when it's done, it's very clear you don't want to participate. We're trying to catch a minyan, and you're there, and you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there having a drink, and you say, "Leave me alone. I'm not interested." Clearly, it's not like you're running to go somewhere else. Then that's of concern. Okay, good. These are the final 3 things. And I keep saying final because it makes it more dramatic. But these are 3 things that Rava taught to his children. Okay, let's keep going. Mr. Akimian. We're going to speak about Persians. Okay? Okay, ready for Persians. Okay. So first, in the times of the Megillat Esther, there was 2 nations. There's Paras. Who's with Paras? Madai. Paras and Madai. There are 2 nations that were leading at the time. They're very similar, okay? But they're different. One is Medes, Madaim. The other one is Parsim, okay? Tanya, Rabbi Akiva Omer. Once you're talking about things of 3, and especially when you're talking about chopping up meat, so look what Rabbi Akiva says. Rabbi Akiva, Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says, Bishlosha devarim ohev ani et madiim. There are 3 qualities that the Madaim have. This is like the Medes, the Paras Madai. There's a nation. There's 3 things that they do that I love. When they cut the meat, they only cut it on the table. They follow they're very cautious. This is their practice. Everyone else is cutting in their hands. I don't know what this is something that it's a sticking point for the rabbis. They cut meat, they cut it on the table. Okay. Okay. When they kiss, they don't do this Persian double kiss on the cheek. They kiss on the hand. Apparently, you see a friend, you shake their hand, you kiss their hand. This one kisses your hand. This is what they do. Rabbi Akiva liked it. It seems like Rabbi Akiva didn't like the cheeks, the kisses on the cheek. Maybe this is what the custom. He didn't like it, and this is what the Rashi explains how you get your saliva on people. Right? This is what Rashi says. Let me show you the Rashi, just because this is a lot of stories about this. People kissing on the cheek. Okay. Al gav hayad, they kiss on the hand. Et yad chaverohu noshek. He kisses his chaver's the hand of his chaver. V'derech chashivutu ze mipnei harok. It shows respect because of the spit. Spit meaning saliva. If you see someone that you respect, out of respect, you kiss them on the hand. You don't go kiss them on the cheek. It's you get to give a person a wet kiss or whatever. This is what Rabbi Akiva liked about the Madiim. Okay. Sometimes I think about this one, especially when you give someone a kiss and it's just like, Rabbi Akiva didn't like this either, so I'm not the only one. Okay, next, the other thing, when you want to get advice or you want to talk about something and you don't want other people to hear, they would go out in the field. They wouldn't speak in the room. Why? Rashi says, let's just go with Rashi because he says something very fun. Look at the statement of Rashi. Ela basadeh, the amri inshe, as people say, oznaim lakotel. What does oznaim lakotel mean? Walls have ears, right? There's this famous saying that the walls have ears. If you're somewhere and there's walls, there's ears. In other words, there's someone there who could hear you. You want to talk about something private? The Madaim, it seems like they would have their meetings not in closed door rooms, but in open field rooms. That's how they would have their private meetings. Not closed doors, open fields. Why? This way you could see what's going on. Yesh oznaim lakotel, as Rashi says. Now, these are the three things that Rabbi Akiva says I liked about the Madim. Okay, number one, I like that when they cut meat, they cut it on the table. They have a cutting board. They don't do it on their hand. Number two, they kiss on the hand. They don't kiss on the face or the cheek, the saliva. It's a hygiene. And number three, when they give advice or when they're speaking about private matters, they don't do it in closed quarters. They do it in open fields. In Yoatzin el Basadeh. Amar Ravada Barava. Ravada says, you know what? This last thing that you said, you even find a pasuk for this advice. Maikra, what's the pasuk? When Yaakov Avinu wanted to run away from the home of Lavan, he spoke to his wives, Rachel and Leah. And it says, Vaishlach Yaakov, Vaikra Rachel and Leah. Yaakov sent a message to call to Yaakov, to Rachel and Leah to speak to them. Hasadeh el sono, out on the field next to his sheep. That's where he did it. He spoke he didn't speak with them inside the house. He had called them to go out in the field. That's an idea of when you want to speak to them about doing something like running away from home. You do that. It's a private matter. You do that out in the open field. Why not in a private place? Because this way you get to see if Lavan sees and hears you. Okay, good. Anyone getting ideas? And have a meeting later outdoors? Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but it seems like this idea of cutting the meat in their hands. Rava gave that as a message to his children, and Rabbi Akiva said that's something I like about the Madaim. That must mean that there was some like again the utensils that we have nowadays. Maybe they didn't have. It seems like if they wanted to cut meat back then, they wouldn't use boards. They wouldn't have boards. It's not like they had plastic plates. And you know what? Maybe washing dishes weren't as simple. I don't know what it is. They would take, I don't know, maybe they take a hot dog, a sausage, just cut it up in their hand. It's not that difficult, right? You could cut a sausage with your hand. Like, yeah, chicken on the bone. I can't cut a chicken on the plate, in my hand. You give me a fork and a knife and a chicken on the bone, I'd rather just fast. It's like the thing takes me 15 minutes to go through. But yeah, so maybe that was another thing. Maybe that's another thing. Maybe the way they would eat their meat, like a chicken, they would have it like barbecue wings, like this, cutting it with their hands. And it grosses them out. And he said, oh, wow, you know what? This whole time I'm thinking about like cutting meat. I'm like thinking about, and I have a picture of raw meat in my hands. But now I'm thinking about maybe you're talking about like, let's say the guy's cutting a piece of chicken on the bone, like a thigh or like the chicken wings, the proper way of doing it. The way you eat a chicken wing is with your hands, and what happens? You get messy. Maybe he's saying like, I don't like that mess. Could be. I don't know. You tell me. The whole image in my mind was like, why cutting raw meat? That doesn't make any. Maybe it's cutting raw meat. I have no idea. Which one? Right. So it makes more sense that you're talking about like a good piece of thigh and a drumstick, something, and like you could either go like this and cutting it with your teeth and your hands like this, or you could do it with a fork and knife in a respectable way. Maybe that's what it means. Okay, good. Okay. We need to keep moving. We need to keep moving. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, okay. I asked this before if there's any Persians in the room. I got a lot of positive answers. So let's see what Rabban Gamliel has to say about the Persians. You see that, Cody? It's Rabban Gamliel. Cody, what does the title Rabban with the nun at the end mean? He's the Nasi of the Sanhedrin. If you see a nun at the end of the title of Rabban, that means that's the title of the president of the Sanhedrin of the Supreme Court. That nun is very powerful. It's Rabban Shel Yisrael. So you don't drop that nun. Rabban Gamliel taught the following. But shlosha devarim ohev ani et parsim. There's three things about the Persians that I love. Wow. Hen senuin ba'achilatan. They eat very modestly. I think we should invite him to Kenisa once when they have poppers and see if we change his opinion. Just put free food in front of the Persians and then see if he changes his opinion. Hey, maybe they had to pay for it back then or something, and they were modest. Actually, look at the commentary on the bottom. It says something amazing. It says when the Persians would have meals, it says, this is a common custom. The footnote on the bottom quotes this, that before they would start their meal, you know what? I want to read it for you because I thought it was very, very nice. Asivat Zekenim sorts a commentary named Givul Binyamin, who in turn cites secular sources on this point. These sources describe a Persian custom practiced at their banquets. When they would have a meal, this is what they would do. When the guests were seated, before the meal was served, two servants would approach, each holding a silver tray. On one tray was a rein. A rein is like the string that you put on the horse to hold it back. And on the other was a scale. These two objects were meant to recall for the participants two important considerations while they ate. A, some of the guests have an intolerance to one or more of the dishes served, based on their individual metabolisms. Thus, those persons should restrain themselves. The first thing you do is before you get food, you remind them, hey, control yourself. Like you would rein in a horse, rein in yourself. Based on the individual metabolism. Those persons should restrain themselves as the rein restrains a horse and completely avoid those harmful foods. B, every guest should take care regarding how much he eats, even if a particular dish is not harmful, because overeating is unhealthful. One should therefore weigh what he consumes as one weighs items on the scales. That's why the second item is they brought a scale. I have never seen this. This is how I know they're not talking about the same Persians as us. Because I've never seen in a wedding someone comes with a rein and scales. But this idea, how Rabbi Akiva says, I love the way how they eat so modestly. So this is one of the ways that the commentators find how it seemed like back in ancient Persia there was this practice that before they would eat, they would give everyone a reminder, hey, take it easy. Don't lose control. Which is idea. This is something that Rabbi Akiva saw once and he liked. Okay, let's keep going. You see, all of these statements, they all like something about food, about how people were eating, about how the modesty of etiquette, cutting food on your hand, how you're acting in front of other people, how you're eating in front of other people. So Rabbi Akiva liked the Persians that they were very modest in the way they would eat. Usnu'in bevet hakiseh. They're also very modest with their bathroom. I'll explain. Utsnu'in bedavar acher, and they're also very modest when it comes to something else. Something else is a proper way of talking about relations between a husband and wife. So what Rabbi Akiva says is that the Persians, again, this is not talking about modern Iranians, but it's talking about the Persians at the time of Achashverosh. Okay, they were very modest in how they would eat. They were very modest in how they would go to the bathroom, and they were very modest in how they would have relations. So just to explain on each of these things, eating, I gave you one of these comments from the footnote, how they would control themselves when they would eat. They would tell people, hey, you should have a self-discipline. Bathrooms. So very interesting. The Gemara will talk about how the Persians came up with a concept that, you go to these porta potties. You know what a porta potty is? You go to the bathroom, and where does the feces go? It stays right there, right? You go to the bathroom, it stays right there. The Persians came up with a way how their bathrooms, they would create like plumbing so that the the dirt. Someone goes to the bathroom, it slides away. It would go, let's say, into the ground, and it would go away. They would dig something up. They would put it into the ground. They'd make it at an angle. So what would happen is when someone would go to the bathroom, the excrement would go away. So Rabbi Akiva, and it seems like this wasn't common. The way people would go to the bathroom, they'd find themselves a private place and they just go. The way a dog goes and they have to cover it up, they would do something like that. The Persians came up with this whole technology, modern for their time, so that they would flush it away somehow. Rabbi Akiva loved that. Keeps it clean. There's a lot of questions about halachot of is this considered a place of tumah or not? Can someone make a bracha in a place like this if the excrement goes away? Modern day halacha speaks about our toilets are probably like what's called the toilets of the Persians because of this concept. This Gemara comes up elsewhere where it talks about the Persians of the bathrooms of the Persians was set up in a way with like modern some form of their modern plumbing. Yes. Okay, maybe when we get up to that Gemara, we'll discuss this a little bit more. You're saying you're not allowed to make a bracha in a toilet. That is the accepted practice, but it's possible that under certain circumstances might be allowed. Okay, we're not doing it. Okay, don't go start making your brachot in the bathroom. But there's a discussion about it, and when our bathrooms are different than the bathrooms of the time of the Gemara because of this concept. The excrement gets flushed away. But I'm not telling you to go make brachot in the bathroom, but there is a discussion about it. Finally, last thing, the way they have relations is done in a modest way. There's different opinions as to what this is. I'll give you one example that's brought up in Gemara Masechet Megillah. The Gemara tells us about Achashverosh that he would have relations with the woman, that he would try. It says ba'erev hi ba'a u'baboker yishava. In the evening, the woman would come to be with Achashverosh. In the morning, she would leave. And the Gemara says how even this pig who was having relations with every single woman in the world, whoever he could, would only do it during nighttime. Why? Because there's a sense of modesty during nighttime. People are, it's not out and about. People can't see all of a sudden. There isn't as much light. It's more private. This is what one of the explanations are. The Persians would have relations in modest ways that was private. Modest in that other people wouldn't be able to see. It seems like maybe it wasn't always like that. Okay. All right. I think we should move on. Last thing about Persians and about this topic is Hashem in the book of Yeshaya. It says that Hashem says, I'm going to appoint the Persians, Parsim, to overtake the Babylonians, which is what happened. Who destroyed the Beit HaMikdash? The first Beit HaMikdash, who destroyed it? Babylonians. What was the name of their king? Nebuchadnezzar, Rasha, Yimach Shema v'Zichron. Nebuchadnezzar, Babylonians. They came, they exiled us to Babel, they destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, and the Persians overtook it from them. And that's how Achashverosh comes into power. So eventually the Persians overtake. So this pasuk of Yeshaya, Hashem says, I am going to choose the Persians to overtake the Babylonians to take revenge on the fact that they hurt us. Okay? But it calls them Nimkudashai. Ani Siveti Nimkudashai. I have commanded my Kedoshim. Meaning Hashem is saying that the Persians are going to mete out revenge for me, so they're holy. But these words Mekudashai could also mean prepared ones. Holy ones, kadosh, or it could be someone that's prepared. Prepared for what? Tana Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, Elu Parsim, these are the Persians, Hamkudashim Zumanim the Gehinam. They're prepared to go straight to hell because of the way that they act. They're going straight to Gehinam. And this is where I'm telling you, I remember I must have been like 12, 13 years old. The first time I saw this Gemara, it says, Parsim go straight to Gehinam. Yeah? What are you talking about? I'm working so hard here. I don't even get a chance. And who's Rav Yosef? Why are you saying? Okay, so it's not talking about us. Okay? Good. Okay. Everyone, 7th inning stretch. Stretch it out. Take a deep breath. Baruch Hashem. We are done with the Agadata of all of the stories and all of the fun things. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. We're not going to be done for long. But we are now going back to the topic of our first Mishnah. Okay? The first Mishnah of Masechet Berachot, the first Mishnah of Shas, we had a discussion, and now we are going to get to the conclusion of that topic. It took us a long time to get there. Okay, so here we are on 8 pages in, or Daf Chet Amud Bet. First Mishnah Masechet. What's the question? Let me ask the group. I tried to get the juices flowing earlier today. What's the first question of our Mishnah? Oh, you missed one word. That was good. Me'matay Keri'as Shema be'arvit. The first question of our Mishnah is, when is the start time of Keri'as Shema of Arvit? What is the Gemara answer? The time that the Kohanim entered to eat their Trumah. Do you remember the 5 opinions in the Braita? The time that the Ani, the time that the regular person on a Friday night, the problem on a regular person on a, what is it? All of it, the Siman Davar means the time that the stars come out. Very good. So that we spoke about. What's the end time of Kriyat Shema? Ad Sof Shmura Rishona, until the end of the first watch. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. This is the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says at the end of the first watch, which is how much into the night? First third. Very good. There's a machloket in the Gemara of how many ashmorot there are, whether there's 3 or there's 4. We've proved that Rabbi Eliezer is talking about 3. There's the whole thing that we did in the Gemara. So until the end of the first third of the night. So end time of Shema of Arvit, according to Rabbi Eliezer, is third of the night. Ad Sof Hashma Rishona. Second opinion is Ad Chatzot, until midnight, which is halfway through the night. Third answer is Ad She'aleh Amud HaShachar, until Amud HaShachar, which is the same as Alot HaShachar, which is not the same as sunrise. What is the, so how do we translate Amud HaShachar? Dawn, we translated it as dawn. Let's define our terms. Dawn. And what is what do I call sunrise? Hanetzach Hama. Very good. Now let me show you this image. Everyone can see this. So understanding conceptually, what's the difference between dawn and sunrise? Okay, look at this yellow ball. This yellow ball is representing the sun. Okay, and this line over here is representing the horizon. So if you're standing here, can I annotate this? I don't know who can see what, but okay, give him a nice kippah. Oh, looks like a Arby's hat. You know that Arby's thing? Okay, I give him a nice beard. Okay, so this is the man. He's standing here and he's looking that way. He sees, the second he sees the break of sun right over there, that's called sunrise, or Hanetz Hachama. Hanetz Hachama, okay? Whatever. Sorry, that's not the best. I just don't know how to undo it here. Netz Hachama, okay? That's what that is. Now, the other thing is, I'm just going to erase all of this. The other possibility is, Mr. Arby over here, it's not that he sees the sun itself, but he starts seeing the rays from the sun. Okay, so it's starting to see some light, but you don't see the ball, but you start to see some light. If anyone has been up very early, you could see even before the sun comes up, the dark, thick navy sky, black sky starts to become lighter and lighter and lighter until you see sunrise. So the moment where you start seeing the rays of the sun, which is way before you actually see the sun, that's called dawn, which is what we're called Alot HaShachar, or in the Lashon of our Mishnah, Amud HaShachar. Okay, whatever. This is what Ashi Alei Amud HaShachar. Okay, so these are the 3 opinions. I don't know if I made this. Okay, now let me just clear the annotations. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, here we go. Okay, it's stuck here forever. Let's do stop share and share again. So you're with me? Everyone understand the difference between dawn and sunrise? The only reason I brought this up because in the chat I had asked this question. What are the 3 opinions? We should know what the 3 opinions are. Number 1 is Rabbi Eliezer says Sof Hashma Rishona. Next opinion is Chachamim Chatzot. Answer number 3. Cody, who says this opinion? Rabban with a nun at the end. Rabban Gamliel. You see Rabbi Gamliel? Rabban Gamliel. Give him the title he deserves. He's the president. Rabban Gamliel. He's saying Amud HaShachar. Very good. So these are the three opinions. Someone, two people in the chat earlier said sunrise. So that's why I'm just making the point. There's a difference between sunrise and dawn. Ilan, you asked, but isn't there machloket? Of course, there's a machloket of practically speaking what dawn we hold by, because there's different types of dawn. Here, let me show you this. Okay, if I go to dawn, sunrise images, like look at this. The question here, this one. What? Oh, I think we've looked at this before. It's like there's different definitions of what dawn is. There's like 18 degrees below the horizon, 12 degrees below the horizon, 6 degrees below the horizon. It depends. Like there's astronomical dawn. If you talk to someone from NASA, or if you talk to someone from the Coast Guard, or if you talk to someone from, I don't know, civilian, they'll each tell you, like there's a different point where you could start seeing the light. Someone who's out on the water could start seeing the light at a different point. This is what it is. So there's different definitions of dawn. And when our Mishnah says Amud HaShachar, there's machloket about which dawn, how much light is enough to say, okay, now is the point. But conceptually, everyone agrees that the sunrise is the moment, this line over here, when the sun breaks through that horizon. And dawn is the moment before that where the sun has not broken the horizon, but you start seeing some light, some significant amount of light, calling Amud HaShachar. Okay, good? Yes, Ilan. Yes. Good question. So Ilan is asking, just for the Zoom, Ilan's asking a question of symmetry. If I'm showing in this picture symmetrically that the amount of time, it looks like the amount of time between dawn and sunrise is the same amount of time between sunset and dusk. Okay, it's a very big discussion. Very big discussion. Symmetrically, it makes sense that yes. Halachically, there could be different requirements, and so no. Just to give you a sense of amount of time, there's different opinions, but the amount of time between sunset and dusk, what we hold in average is around 15 minutes. 15 minutes on average. Whereas the time between dawn and sunrise is 72 minutes on average. It's completely different. It's 4 times the amount of time, even more. But that's because the halakhic discussion, hopefully we'll get a chance to get into it. But symmetrically, yeah, the way the earth, it has to be that way. It has to be that way for the symmetry of the world. Correct. So you're getting into a different discussion. Hopefully we'll get into that. Okay?
Rabbi?
Yes.
When Rabban Gamliel says we have until Amud HaShachar, is that until Amud HaShachar starts, or through Amud HaShachar till?
Good question. So Amud HaShachar, okay, it's good. We're gonna get into it. It's pretty clear that Amud HaShachar is the point in time. The time between Amud HaShachar and the Netzach Hama is not called Amud HaShachar. Amud HaShachar, right? So now Igal's question is basically, what is Amud HaShachar? Is it this twilight zone is called Amud HaShachar, or is it this line where you break from night to twilight? That is Amud HaShachar. Simple answer, I'll tell you, it's that line. It's that point in time. That's Amud HaShachar. After that point, you no longer can do it. However, we're going to see upcoming, probably next week, how it might be even after that. Okay?
Thank you.
So on the second back half, we call it Ben Hashmashot. You know, the back half, meaning at nighttime, the sunset is called Shkiyat Hachama. Dusk here is called Tzet HaKochavim, the stars coming out. And in between is called Ben Hashmashot. I'm not sure. What Neshef, we spoke about Neshef. Where is the pasuk we spoke about Neshef? Anyone remember? What was the pasuk? Uvnei Neshef yagbiu uf. Yeah, Neshefte beruchacha kisamayam. Very good. It says that David HaMelech fought a war. Okay, whatever. There's machloket about what Neshef is, and even in that, I think Neshef is the Gemara defined for us. Neshef is a change of status. I forgot the word that we used, but it's an inflection point. Neshef could be referring to going from night to day, or it's going from day to night. We said sometimes it means this, sometimes it means that. But again, it's a point in time of the inflection. It's not necessarily a period of time. You get the difference between a point in time and a period of time. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going because I want to make sure we finish this part of the Gemara tonight. Rabban Gamliel Omer. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel, Halacha Rabban Gamliel. The law is like Rabban Gamliel, who says until Amud HaShachar, until dawn, a person can say Shema all night long until dawn. This is the opinion of Shmuel. Halacha Rabban Gamliel. Okay, that's it. We're done with this. We took us 9 pages or 8 pages to get here, but finally we're saying the halacha is like Rabban Gamliel. Okay. Very good. You said in the chat today, the halacha, I think you said we dalo the chachamim, if I'm not mistaken. There was a typo. You wrote, we follow the chachamim, is what you said. You're correct. You're correct. The Gemara here doesn't say that. But let's see Rambam. Okay? And this is in Zechut of Ilan, who says we follow the chachamim. I'm going to show you the Rambam. I wish you could get rid of this thing. But okay. Here is the Rambam, Svaria, Halacha. Obviously decided to refresh on me. Why do you have to refresh? Halacha, Mishneh Torah. Reading the Keri'as Shema, chapter 1, I believe it's Halacha Tet. I'll zoom in for everyone who's looking at the screen. Don't worry. Yes, I'm right. It's Halacha Tet. Okay, let's look at this. Ezehu Zeman Keri'as Shema Balayla. What is the time to say Keri'as Shema at night? This is the opinion of the Rambam, who is deciding, or he's codifying what the law is. Mitzvata Misha'at Yetziat HaKochavim. The mitzvah is from the time that the stars come out at Chatzi Halayla until middle of the night. Our Gemara right now just said the halacha is like Rabban Gamliel, but he's saying it's until the middle of the night. Here, ve'im avar. But if a person passed that time, ve'icher, and delayed past midnight, ve'kara ad shelo ala amud hashachar, and he read Shema before dawn, yatsa yedei chovato. He fulfilled his obligation. Shelo amru ad chatzot, because the rabbis who said ad chatzot, they didn't say it ela kedei le'achik adam min ha'peshi'ah, to distance someone from being careless. Peshia. By the way, is this the word that the Gemara used? Kedei le'achik et ha'adam min ha'avera. Our Mishnah says from sin. The Rambam is saying, look, if someone wants to sin, they could sin. The rabbi is saying midnight versus dawn is not going to stop them from sinning. Sinning sounds like more of a deliberate thing. You can't stop that. But what you can do, and the Rambam is like explaining it, it's careless or negligence. Someone who you tell them you could say Shema until midnight, they'll make sure to say by midnight. But if you tell them you have all night to do it, then they might fall asleep. They might eat a little, drink a little, watch some Netflix, fall asleep, and then before you know it, they lost their chance to say it. So our Gemara says the halacha is like Rabban Gamliel, but the Rambam is saying halacha is like Chachamim. And if you forgot, okay, so you fulfill your obligation. Let me show you Shulchan Aruch, who is another source of halacha, and this is the halacha that we follow. Let me just read this for you. HaKoreh Kriyat Shema Shel Arvit. Whoops, this is not the one that I want. Is this what I want? Oh, it's this. L'chatchila means ideally tzarich likrot Kriyat Shema miyad b'tzedek kochavim. Ideally, you're going to say Shema immediately as the stars come out, as soon as it's nightfall. Vizmana, and the time to say it at chatzi halayla, until midnight. Also, like the Rambam, also like the Chachamim. Ve'im avar ve'icher, and if he transgressed and he delayed, v'kara ad shelo ala amud hashachar, and he read it before dawn, yatzeh yedei chovato, he fulfilled his obligation. So what do you see from both the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch, that the halacha is like who? Chachamim, except if you miss that time, you fulfill the obligation. So really, who is the halacha like? The halacha is really like Rabban Gamliel. When you think about, is it the first third of the night, like Rabbi Eliezer, or is it the end of the night, like Rabban Gamliel? The answer is halacha is like Rabban Gamliel. Chachamim are just going to say, hey, let's just get it a little bit earlier, which is the halacha. So now you understand what our Gemara is saying, right? When our Gemara tells us. Exactly, and we're going to get into this. Correct. Correct. Very good. Rabbinically, they say you have to do it earlier. But if you do it past the time, you're fulfilling your mitzvah from the Torah because the halacha is like Rabban Gamliel. Now you see the statement. Amar Ravida, Amar Shmuel, halacha Rabban Gamliel. The halacha proper is like Rabban Gamliel. But we have a technicality, not a technicality. We have an additional layer of halacha where Chachamim say you have to do it a little bit earlier. It's a stringency. It's a stringency to make sure that you don't make a mistake. Okay? Okay, very good. Now, let's see, it's 9:30. Can I do this next Gemara? I can do this next Gemara now, but it's a very, very important topic for halacha. So we're going to do it now. We're going to get ourselves introduced to it. And next week, hopefully, we'll get into the halachot of it. Okay? So, again, everyone, please look at the screen. I have a question for you. If I say Shema, let me go back to the annotation, and I'm going to start making marks here. If I say Shema over here, did I fulfill my obligation? Yes. Okay, but I should qualify my question. If I say Shema of the night over here, do I fulfill my obligation? Okay? Now, if I say Shema over here, do I fulfill my obligation? No. If I say Shema of the night over here, I don't fulfill my obligation. But what if I say Shema of the day over there, in the orange mark? I fulfill the obligation, right? So of the day over here, I fulfill, but not over here, right? So let's think of a better way of doing this. Okay, let's say the day is green. Over here, check. Over here, X. Then let's say the night is red. Good. Over here, X. Over here, check. My question is, what about over here? And what about over here? Not for the night for sure. Why not for the night for sure? Because Rav Gamliel says Asheli Amud HaShachar. So Igal asked about what about afterwards, but no, we're saying no until this mark of dawn. It's a moment in time, the point in time. Very good. What about for the day? Let's say I said Shema during that time and that's it. Machloket. It's a correct answer. The correct answer is machloket. It's a safe bet. You know this, right? You guys know I've said this enough times. If you don't know the story, there's one guy, one smart aleck, that tells the rabbi, he says, I could answer any question from the Gemara. So he says, what are you talking about? I say, anything, Rabbi, you ask me anything, I'll know the answer. And he says, let's see. And he asked him, the Gemara Masechet Yevamot, he says, this is over here, and what's the deal with this? And he said, machloket. He said, wow, he's right, okay. And he says, what about this question about Shabbat, if you do this and this? And machloket is like, right, he's like, Rambam and the Rosh say different things. Okay, I have another question about this and this and this. And he said, machloket. He said, wow, this guy's a Talmid Chacham, he knows everything. Okay, anything you want, just say machloket, the answer is correct. So, yes, this zone over here, when it comes to Shema Yisrael, let's make it yellow. The question of this yellow zone is twilight zone. Wow. I know the topic of the YouTube thing, okay? Whoever's Josh, usually Josh Abrani helps with that. We call this the twilight zone. Actually, I'm going to get clicks from people trying to watch a movie. Okay, so this twilight zone, can I say Shema in it? What does the group say? Anyone think I could do Shema of the night there? Does anyone think? Raise a hand if yes. Okay. 0. Anyone think you can say Shema of the day during that time? Oh, I have 4 hands. Okay, I don't know about the Zoom. If anyone on the Zoom wants to vote also, you can let me know. But I have right now 0 to 4. Anyone think I can't say any Shema during that time?
You can say easy answer. Why? Because the best time to do Amidah is next. So if that's the case, the Shema comes in front of the
Oh, wow. Rama, how many times did you pray Netz with Yaakov Hillel in Israel? Like I just got in once or twice. Okay, fine. So Rama, obviously Rama just thinks about what he does every morning. He goes to the Netz minyan.
Which our community never has had a regular Netz.
Yeah, okay, so you started.
Four Netz, but not a Netz.
Okay. All right, good stuff. It's a good Jewish humor. Okay, so very good. So Rama changes his answer to say yes. Why? We're going to get into these topics of there's many that how do I clear all of this? I wish I knew how to. There's many that what they do is they go to a minyan where Amidah starts exactly at this line. Amidah starts exactly at this line of sunrise. So Rama is saying, if Amidah is right over here, that means you're saying Shema like 2-3 minutes before. You're saying Shema during that time of the day. So Rama is saying, oh, yeah. So not only are you allowed to, it's the best time. Oh, okay, very good, Rama. So now that we did this discussion, let's see what the Gemara says. And guess what? It's a machloket. Okay, stop share again. Let's go. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer. This is Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, famous Rashbi. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai says, Pe'amim, there are sometimes, she'adam koreh Keri'as Shema, shtei pa'amim balayla. Sometimes, someone can read Shema twice at night. 2 times in the night. Achat, kodem she'alei amud hashachar, once before dawn. Ve'achat le'achar she'alei amud hashachar, once after dawn. And he fulfills his obligation. Achat shel yom ve'achat shel layla. He fulfills both obligations, one of the night, one of the day. This statement that Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai is saying, there's a chance that you could say Shema twice at the night, and you're knocking out your requirements of the night and the day. If you do it once before dawn and once after dawn. What's your question? Then it's not night. If you're telling me I can say Shema of the day, then it's clearly not night. So that's exactly the question of the Gemara. Hagufa kasha, your statement is self-contradictory. Amart, you said Pa'amim shadam koreh Kriyat Shema shtei pa'amim balayla. You said you could say Shema twice at the night. Alma, that implies the achar she'alei amud hashachar leilahu. And then you go on to tell me you're saying Shema after dawn. That means that the time after dawn is nighttime. But then you continue to say, you fulfill your obligation, an obligation of Shema of the day and Shema of the night. Then it's not night. If you're fulfilling your obligation of Shema of the day after dawn, then it's not night at that dawn. So when you're saying, oh, you read Shema twice at night, you're not reading it twice in the night. You're reading once before dawn, which is night, and once after dawn, which is day. That would imply that it's day. Lo. Le'olam le'lehu. It is night. The time after dawn, that twilight zone, is considered night. And still you could say Shema of the day during that time. And when it says that you fulfill the obligation of Yom, because people are getting up at that time. So what? Here's what's extremely important. Does the Torah say that you have to say Shema Yisrael once at night and once at day? Very good. It does not say Shema at night and Shema at day. That's not what it says. What does it say? It says you have to say Shema b'shoch becha, which is when you're lying down, in your lying down. Uvkumecha means in your arising. So if you have people who are getting up at dawn, it could still be considered nighttime. And you fulfill your obligation of uvkumecha. So when he says, there are times where you could say Shema twice at night, and you fulfill your obligation of the day Shema and the night Shema, it's not really the day Shema, it's the uvkumecha Shema. He calls it the day because it's mostly in the day, but still, his opinion is, people start waking up at Amud HaShachar, at Alot HaShachar, and therefore, after Alot HaShachar, during that twilight zone, since some people are waking up, you could fulfill your day obligation, not because it's day, but because it's already uvkumecha, the time that people start arising. You get it? That's what the Gemara says. This opinion of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai is, a person can say Shema twice at nighttime and fulfill his obligation of the nighttime Shema and the daytime Shema. In other words, the shochbecha Shema and the uvkumecha Shema. Because people who still get up at dawn, if people get up at dawn, it's still considered night for all other halachot. For example, can you do Brit Milah at that time? No, you can't do Brit Milah after dawn. You have to wait until nitz. Can you? There's many of these discussions that you have to wait until day. You have to wait until nitz. The obligation, the cutoff for tefillin doesn't have to do with night or day. It has to do with mishiyakir, which is being able to recognize your friend from a certain distance, which we're going to get into at another time. But the cutoff of tefillin and tzitzit, the earliest time of talit, earliest time of tefillin, is not the same as dawn or sunrise. It's actually in between for some other reasons, which we'll get into.
Rabbi,
very good. Yes.
Is tzitzit dawn or sunrise?
Tzitzit is neither. Tzitzit is its own thing, Because the Torah doesn't say that tzitzit has to be worn in the day. It says, Ur itemato, you should be able to see it. So it's when there's enough light for you to be able to distinguish it, which is between those two times. Okay, we're going to get into that. Tzitzit is his own thing, Tefilin is his own thing. There's all of these things, which is it's very complicated, but this is so practical. This is why I love Masechet Berachot. Because when you study Masechet Berachot, you know something about every single day, every single morning. You know about the seasons of the day. Yes, I have to keep my eye on the clock, but yes.
So no one's really going to sleep right before dawn either, you know?
No one is going to sleep right before dawn either. Okay.
That sort makes more sense.
Very good. So very good, very good, very good. Okay. So we have to answer your question because it goes back to another topic. You guys heard what Elon's question is. I'm not trying to offend you here. I'm trying to say there's something fundamentally wrong with that understanding. What Elon's not wrong, but it's a machloket. What Elon said is, yeah, but if you're going to tell me that we're not dealing with night and day, and we're dealing with when you're going to sleep and when you're getting up, okay, now you're telling me you could get up at dawn, but who's going to sleep moments before dawn? No one. So you shouldn't be able to say Shema then. What's the problem with that? Okay, you want to give people more time? But what's the problem with that fitting into halacha we had just learned? Chachamim said chatzot, which is correct, but beyond that, who is the halacha like? Rabban Gamliel. What did Rabban Gamliel say? Until Amud HaShachar. So your question is on Rabban Gamliel. Your question is, Rabban Gamliel, you allow me to say the nighttime Shema until dawn, but no one's going to sleep at that point. So what's the answer? There's a fundamental difference in interpretation of the word b'shochbecha between Rabbi Eliezer, who says the first third of the night, and Rabban Gamliel, who says the entire night. Rabbi Eliezer, who says the first third of the night, defines b'shochbecha as when people go to sleep, i.e. when they start to lie down, when they begin sleeping. Whereas Rabban Gamliel says, no, the definition of b'shochbecha means all the while that you're lying down. So yes, Elon, you're right that no one starts to go to sleep then, but people are still sleeping then. That's why when you're saying that what you're saying is the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. That's why Rabbi Eliezer says you could only say Shema on the first third of the night, because that's the time that people are going to sleep. No one is going to sleep after the first third of the night. And nowadays they are, but back then there was no lights. What are you going to do? After 10 o'clock, everyone will be asleep. Whereas Rabban Gamliel says, no, I disagree with you fundamentally with what the words b'shochbecha means. B'shochbecha doesn't mean the time that you go to sleep, but it means all the while that you are sleeping. That includes up until dawn. You get it? Very good. Ilan, I want you to repeat it back to me. What's your question and what's the answer? I think this is important.
Why would you be able to allow to say Shema up until right before dawn?
Right? Why would you be able to say Shema up until right before dawn if it's not a time of b'shochbecha? No one's going to sleep right before dawn.
It is to mean that when you're going, most people are going to sleep.
Very good. Very good. That's what Rabban Gamliel says. B'shochbecha means while you are lying down, meaning as long as you're still sleeping, or as long as people are generally sleeping. Okay, because think about it. Ufkumecha is the action of kum, means to get up, whereas shev means the action of lying down. So yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question. Actually, hold on a second. Wow. Okay, there's an opinion that says like this. It's just coming back to me. I remember when we were doing the first Mishnah, I listened to the recording and I wanted to do more of the Gemara. I guess we're going to do it next time. I remember I was listening to the recording of Rabbi Ben Chaim giving a shiur on this, and he quoted an opinion. I should know this. He said there's an opinion that says Ukumecha means the same way how B'shochbecha means all the while that you're lying down. There's an opinion that says you can fulfill Shema all the while that you're standing up. And he says no one holds like that. And he thought it was like a funny opinion, which is like you could be.
Because we're getting up from bed. So
Yeah.
Get up from bed?
Correct. So his question is Ukumecha is the action of rising as opposed to being arose. I don't know the words. Whereas b'shochbecha, Rabban Gamliel defines for us is like all the while that you're lying down. He says, why don't you say that by b'shochbecha also? It's a good question. Okay, I have some research to do. Then you, yeah, then some people stay up into the night, so then you end up, so maybe you can't mean that. Okay. Okay, good stuff. Okay, we had some good discussion. I just want to end up with this idea. Quick recap. What did Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai tell? What is the rule that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai taught us? Sorry? Okay, this is Rava says don't cut meat in your hand. I wasn't planning on going there, but fine. What are the three things Rava tells his kids? Don't cut meat on your hand. Don't sleep on the bed of an Aramit woman, correct? Don't walk by the entrance of a Bet Knesset. The time that the Sibur is praying. Okay, you want to keep doing this? What are the three things that that Rabbi Akiva loved about the Madaim? I believe what's next? They kissed the hand, they didn't kiss on the cheek. Yeah, the way they cut their meat on the table. And what was the other one? Yeah, they go out on the field to have these private conversations. There's no behind closed doors. It's all in the open field. Then what are the three things that the Persians? What do we like about the Persians? Very good. The way they ate, the way they went to the bathroom, and the way they had relations. This is Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva taught us this. And then we said, oh, Persians go to Gehinnom. That was the next thing that we said. And then after that, we said the halacha is like the topic of the end time of Shema is like Rabban Gamliel. We spoke about, Elon, you mentioned, yeah, but we know that halacha is like Chachamim. So we spoke about how there's different layers of halacha here. There's one fundamental halacha discussion between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabban Gamliel about how you define b'shoch b'cha. You define it as the time that you go to sleep, which is the first third of the night, or all the while that you're sleeping, which is the whole night. And this Shmuel says halakha is like Rabban Gamliel. And then above that, Chachamim say, yes, we agree with him, but we're gonna make it a little bit earlier because we don't want you to miss saying Shema out of negligence. And then we get to the statement of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says the following statement. What does he say? There are times where a person can say Shema twice in the night, and he'll fulfill his obligation once of the night and once of the day. And if you're going to tell me it's twice at night, how am I fulfilling the obligation of the day? The answer is because people are getting up already from dawn. Okay, very good. Next time we're going to discuss that and a flip statement of it in more context. Yes, Rama, quick question.
Masharis or Persians have this saying in parts of they say, yeah, this here. So like we're going into a lot of details about things that it's important for us to know. But there's this saying in Farsi that says "Sachlesh Nagi," which means don't exaggerate. So just want to know, like we're learning so much detail about when to do it, how to do it, all this. So practically, in terms of how we're judged when we go to Shemayim, how important is it to get all this?
Okay, you're asking a very good question, but you're asking a hashkafic question in a Gemara class. The question here is, you have to view how we're studying the law here, right? Practically speaking, you're saying if I say Shema a few minutes late, is Hashem going to be upset with me? The answer is, I don't know. But what I do know is that there's discussions about the marking points, and we are being very technical to understand. Is Hashem going to be upset with you if you say Shema a few minutes too late, a few minutes too early? I don't know. But what I do know is that these are the law. This is where the laws are being discussed, and we're going to do it the right way. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I am going to choose to pause this question, and hopefully we can discuss it next time. Okay? Hazak Baruch.